Lew Migliore is with us.
Yes,
He is the industry's troubleshooter. He heads LGM and Associates Technical Flooring Services. And Lew, how are you?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
I'm great. It's good to have you on the program.
And it's good to be here again.
Now Lew comes on the program and shares some of the unusual situations he's called out on in the field, and we talk about those. And this particular one, this is wood flooring, and it's been cracking. Tell us about it.
Interesting case where this floor has been down a couple of years, and I got a call from the dealer, and they said, we've got this consumer, and they're upset with us, obviously, because they said, we warranted the floor against any defects, and now it's starting to crack, and they feel that it's our fault. As we discussed this, she said, look, here's what the problem is. This guy had, I said, well, tell me something about it. Well, they got a stove, a hot stove, wood-burning stove, that they use exclusively for heat in the house in the wintertime. And I think this was in Maryland or someplace. And in the summertime, they live near a pond and a river. So they live near two bodies of water. And in the summer, they keep the doors and windows open so that they can, keep the house comfortable like that. Because of where the house is situated, it sounds like it stays pretty comfortable with the weather in the summertime and being where they are in proximity to the bodies of water. So I said, well, they're complaining to you that this is your fault because the wood is cracking, when in fact they're taking the wood to two completely different extremes.
Opposite extremes, really, yeah.
The wood-burning stove will dry the place out so that your skin's going to crack. And I'm sure that if they looked at other things around the house, walls and window frames and everything else, they'd see that there would be expansion or contraction of those areas as well. And then in the summer, when they open a place up, they're subjecting it to massive volumes of moisture because of the moisture naturally in the air. So they're taking this thing back and forth, and it's reacting. Yeah. And what they don't realize, and what I always say, is that wood on the floor is just a tree in a different form. It does everything the tree will do in the forest.
Jot that down.
Well, you should have this on tape. Yeah. Do you listen to your own stuff? I mean, do you listen to any of this that we do? But
I remember every word.
Oh, good. I'm glad. So you've got these two extremes going on. And I says, well, is there anything wrong with the installation? No, the installation is fine. It's just the wood that's reacting. And I says, they can go online and look at where the wood should be kept as far as temperature and humidity in a house, and it'll tell you from the National Wood Flooring Association that these are the extremes that will affect wood. And they are telling you what's going on and admitting that they're doing this, and yet blaming you for having this problem, when in fact it is not your problem. And we see this with wood products. One of the things that we see is that people don't understand, and we get this all the time. Well, are we supposed to then control the heat and humidity in the house? Yeah, you are. You are, because if you got wood floors, you have to do that because the wood will change.
Well, it's a good idea to do it anyway. But
I remember when we had the house here in Dalton, that there was an expansion portion where you had a dining area off the kitchen, and it used to open up every winter. There was a seam there that would open up, and then in the summer it would close back up. And it was typical of somebody else not realizing that would say, geez, look at this. And there were a couple of times when I had to put filler in there. And then it would, in the summertime, some of it would pop out because it was pushing back together again. But that's, wood. Yeah. The frame of your house being wood will expand and contract. But the wood floor was reacting to the conditions to which it was being subjected, and they were extreme conditions, and this is why this individual is having this problem. But this isn't the only one. I mean, this is an extreme example of it, but we see this all the time.
How did this end up? I mean, he was trying to get some sort of
Well, he wanted them to replace the floor, and I said, look, if you're going to replace the floor, unless he changes things, you're going to have the same problem. You could put carpet down. over plywood substrate, and he'd have buckles in the wood in the wintertime, and it would go away in the summertime because you've got expansion and contraction of the wood that comprises the house. So the wood flooring being throughout and obvious, they were seeing it. So he says, well, and it took it a couple of years to do it, but he went back to them and he insisted that they replace the floor because he said, you installed it, you guaranteed it, and if you look at warranties, nobody warrants that. They'll tell you what.
Well, maybe you ought to get a humidifier and a dehumidifier,
well,
and that might be his answer.
Yeah, absolutely. He needs to make some changes there in
Yeah.
order to prevent that problem.
I'd love to have been there when he explained this to him, though, and said the answer is
Well, he
a
was
dehumidifier.
yeah, he was kind of adamant. Now, I talked it over with my wood guys, and everybody. First of all, it's common sense.
Yeah.
Really, it should be common sense that people who understand wood, and even if you understand wood from working with wood, if you're a guy, you know that the wood expands and contracts, and it's going to crack if it's outside or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have a deck, it's going to do that. But that's what it was doing, and he did not want to hear that it was something that he was doing. Most people don't want to hear it's something that they were doing.
Yeah, I hear you.
But in the case of wood, that happens frequently.
Good place to leave it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Lou.
You're welcome, Dave.
We've been talking with Lew Migliore. He is the industry's troubleshooter. He heads LGM and Associates Technical Flooring Services. This is Talk Floor TV.